Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, your quality assurance consulting team. Quality is our highest priority for your business with one goal, one direction, success. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell. Good morning, listeners. I have a special guest with me this morning, Kat. Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for taking the time to speak with me. So tell our listeners who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, my name's Kat. I'm based in New York, and I'm a home baker. That's probably the main thing I do, but I also do a lot of content creation on the side. So, um, yeah, always video editing and making things for TikTok and Instagram, and more recently Lemonade. So yeah, that's my life in a little nutshell.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's how I found you.
Mm.
Was absolutely on Instagram and watching some of your posts. I'm like, very interesting. So I started following, and I really enjoy what you do, and your baking skills are good.
Oh, well, thank you.
So as you said, you're a home baker, right? And your
Yeah.
business is primarily from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's from home.
So tell us a little bit about that. How long have you been in business, and how does that home base work? Give us some insight.
Yeah, so I was actually a music teacher first, and then
Wow.
yeah, baking was just a hobby for me. Even before the pandemic, I only started baking in like the fall of 2019,
Hmm.
um, and then COVID hit, and then everything just sort of came together where I realized that teaching wasn't really sustainable for me anymore. And at the same time, I was just practicing baking, and I had so many baked goods that I had posted online and asked if anyone wanted to buy them. And without fail, people wanted to buy them every time. And I was like, oh, maybe this could be a thing. So I just started selling to like friends and family, and then I became incorporated maybe a little over a year ago at this point. So yeah, it's been really cool. I don't think that I'm large enough yet to rent out like an industrial kitchen or any kind of professional space, which is why I'm primarily at home.
Hmm.
But it's been really cool just to see, especially it's really expanded on like friends and family to friends of friends. I've been getting more just like cold emails from people that I don't know who have said like, "Oh, I tried a slice of cake from this person when they ordered from you and I loved it and can I order something?" So, that's sort of where I am right now, and it's been a blast. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's great. So it's interesting how we take a hobby
Mhm.
and turn it into our passion, and next thing you know, it's our business. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's a great story. That's why I interview people, and I love the entrepreneurship world, the small businesses, and I love to get their who they are and hear their story of how they became who they are. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for me, leaving a profession is always scary. And there was definitely part of me that was like, I don't know if this is going to be my thing. Like, what if I don't like this? What if I quit this? And then I'm like a failure. But I realized this is it for me, as at least for this season, because I would like have a super crazy day baking nonstop. My feet are aching. And then the next morning, I would want to do it all over again. So, I think that's just like a really good indicator for me that this is what I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah, it's that passion that no matter what we go through, we still love to do what we do. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Right. So let's talk a little bit about that. You work from home, and how does that, give us a little bit of insight into the work life balance of how that works out? Because working from home is not easy. It has to be a challenge, right?
Yeah. I think at home the hardest part is probably drawing boundaries between, when does my work end? When am I going to when am I going to draw the line in the sand as to like, okay, at this point, I'm going to choose to spend time with my family. For me, part of why teaching wasn't sustainable for me was because I knew I had an underlying sleep condition and I just didn't know what it was for years. And only in the last like year or so, I was finally diagnosed with type 1 narcolepsy. And so that actually is like a huge reason why doing what I do works for me is
Hmm.
because I have the flexibility, thank God, to, if something's in the oven, I can go close my eyes for 5 minutes and then I'll feel refreshed and ready to keep going. And
Hmm.
that's obviously something that, working at an office job or teaching, like I can't afford to do that. So it's been such a blessing to be able to work from home specifically for that reason. And I think on top of that, me and my husband are honestly just two big homebodies. So we love being excuse me, with each other and just being able to do things from home. It's the dream for us. And so yeah, even though I do struggle with, sometimes I am baking into the wee hours of the night where I have to get up really early, I still would rather be doing that at home, figuring out a schedule that works for me instead of like needing to report to a certain place at a certain time, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I went from a 16-year um, huge corporation management, just
Mm.
walking away and, talking about scared and the unknown, but
Mhm.
I'm still here and I made it, and we always will find a way, and that's when I learned that I really am an entrepreneur,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. You
and
always find a way.
yeah, absolutely. And not to change the subject a little bit, but you had
Sure.
mentioned your husband, and every time it comes up that I saw that video that you said, "I'm the baker, and the
Oh,
husband does the dance, and he eats the leftovers."
yeah.
Such a great video.
Thanks. Yeah, that one, like, I had no idea would gain so much traction, but yeah, it did. It's only like 7 seconds, which is crazy. The internet is weird.
Yes, and to the listeners, if you haven't had a chance, I mean, I don't know if you guys know Kat or not, but please go to her Instagram and look at that video. It'll make you laugh.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
It is so funny. I love it. Tell your husband that too. It's a great video.
I will, definitely.
Uh, so tell us a little bit, the life of a baker, your struggles and your challenges. Now we know COVID had,
Mhm.
changed, made you pivot from a teacher into the baking. Now let's talk a little bit about, the life of a baker and the struggles and the challenges that you face with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big thing is the initial investment is scary, as
Yeah.
with any kind of business. I just didn't know if this would work or if it would become feasible for me or profitable. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm again lucky in that I get to do it from home and pick my own schedule, but yeah, it often means like making 7 a.m. runs to the supermarket or like 11:30 p.m. runs to the supermarket. I think a challenge for me and my personality is figuring out when to stop taking orders. I think when I was first starting out, I was so eager to just get the word out about my business and I wanted any kind of publicity. I would bake for free all the time. And then I realized that especially after the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people are not only willing but more than happy to pay more to support a small business. I think
Yes.
they've seen a lot of value in that. And so in the last year and a half, I've been able to raise my prices, and that was scary for me. And I realized that not only did my loyal customers stick around, but more people were actually still interested in ordering from me. I have more customers. Um, so yeah, I would say like with excuse me, I'm
Hmm.
just getting over a cold, but
Okay.
um
Take your time.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, with any business, there's the challenge of like, is this gonna work? There's imposter syndrome, again, the initial investment. But I think particularly in my line of work, it's just so rewarding too because I'm usually baking for special events. I'm baking for birthdays and wedding anniversaries. And I recently baked my first wedding cake. And it's just so fulfilling for me to know that the things that I make are just even a part of someone's really special moment.
Hmm.
I think people, community, connection is still really important to me despite me now working by myself at home. I think that's like a big part of my purpose and my why and a big reason why I wanted to be a teacher in the first place. And so, yeah, I know this is like sort of tangential to your question, but I think knowing that the things that I make are part of someone's special day just definitely outweighs like all the challenges that I would
Mhm.
go through.
Right. And did you make your first wedding three tier cake? I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw that. Your
Mhm.
Was it a reel or a story on Instagram that you put up there?
Probably all the above because
All
I
the
was
above.
just so proud of it that and
Yes.
mind you, like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the wedding was on a boat, and so there's also the fear of, like, "Is this gonna tip over?" But
Wow.
it worked out, everything went really well, they loved the cake, so I'm very happy with how it came out.
That just saying that right there made me get nauseous because I can only imagine the pressure you were put under knowing that this wedding is on a boat and you got to get this cake on there.
Oh, yeah, and it was I don't live in Manhattan, and the boat was leaving from Manhattan, and we had hit traffic, and I was just like, "If we don't make it on time, the boat is leaving." Like, there's no way for me to get the cake on the boat, so that was stressful in itself, but everything went great.
And that's why you do what you do, right? I mean, you made it work. It was smooth, and
Absolutely.
that's great. I was watching the reruns of Shipping Wars, I think
Oh.
last week or so, and I saw the one to where she delivered the like the 3 or 4 tier cake to a
Mm.
wedding, and when it got there, the top tier, because of the heat in the back of her trailer, made it
Ugh.
sag, and it ended up being like a and 1 tier missing cake. He had to put it back together for the wedding.
That's my worst nightmare.
Yeah, right. I can only imagine.
Jeez, wow, that's
Right,
scary for sure.
right. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. How you feel and trying to make that work. Especially on a boat. Oh my gosh, that has to be crazy.
Yeah, I definitely had to make sure the cake was really cold. I like when were driving there, the car was like freezing, and I had a lot of supports like in the cake. A lot of people don't know this, but like in a tiered cake like that, bakers will put a wooden dowel in the middle and then like bubble tea straws throughout the different cake layers so that it's structurally sound. So I made sure to do my research, but it was still scary.
Right. I guess no matter how much preparation that you take, something could always go wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Now, do you have any like blooper videos of things that actually went wrong that you videoed and it's like, oh my God, look at this, how this was disastrous?
Um, all the time. I don't know, like, I probably because I edit videos so quickly and I just kinda delete footage that I don't use,
Uh-huh.
I would have to go search for some, but, oh, yeah, I'm constantly, like, accidentally bumping my arm into, like, a cake or, like, I'm trying to drop sprinkles and they don't land in the right place or, all the time I'm writing words on cakes and then realize that the second half of the word won't fit, like, this is all the time.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Like you realize, wait a minute, this word has 8 letters and I only put six in there and I can't fit the other two.
Oh my gosh, recently it took me 9 tries to fit congratulations on a cake, and, just from now on, like, I'm only writing congrats, like, I'm not doing that anymore.
You're not doing the whole word anymore.
No, no. I can't no, you'll have to pay extra for that.
You got to pay extra for that, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. So another question I have is, so what do you bake, and do you have any special items? Like, what are your specialties?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, the first thing that I ever tried baking was an apple pie, and so that will always be special to me. I entered a local contest last year, and that I submitted 3 items, and that was the one that got me first place. So I think that will always have a special place in my heart. But my most popular item would definitely be anything tres leches. So,
Oh, one of
yeah.
my
So,
favorites.
oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'll get to try it one day if you're in the
Yes.
area. But yeah, I sell tres leches cakes and then cupcakes and mini cupcakes, and, like, I get so many orders for those items alone every month, and I think especially in the summer because they're so light and fluffy, like, they're
Mhm.
especially popular, so yeah, I would definitely say, like, those are probably my most popular items.
Oh, that's great. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on winning the contest. That's great,
Yeah, thank you so
man.
much, it's definitely a
Yeah.
highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. And apple pie is one of my favorites. And
Mm.
tres leches. I love flan too. Oh my God, flan.
Oh, yeah, I make that too. People don't order that as much, but I do make it, so
Hmm.
hopefully I can make it for you one day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know we don't. I don't live very close. I'm in Maryland, and
Mm.
my kids love to travel to New York, especially Manhattan, at
Oh,
least once
cool.
or twice a year. So I'm not sure when we were supposed to go this past this past Monday we were supposed to go. That didn't work out. They changed because of the
Oh.
weather and they weren't sure about wanting to get it done, so we waited. But when I get up there, I'm definitely going to hit you up, and I'm going to place an order because I want to try some of these delicious treats.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I have friends in the city anyway, so, I can just make it a trip for me to see some friends and bring you some items, but yeah, I would love to do that. I think it's cool that, you kinda come to New York reliably at least once a year.
Yeah, absolutely. They love Manhattan.
Mm.
They love K-pop, so
Oh, no
we visit the
way!
K-pop stores, and yeah, we go to concerts all the time. We've seen and Hypin and ATs and
Wait, really?
TXT. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, wait, how old are your kids? Sorry, I know
they're
this interview is, like, for me,
we're
but
right. We're
I'm
changing
s
those, but they're
I'm so
15 and
interested.
20,
15 and 20? Okay.
and they're both girls. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome. Well, I
Yeah.
I I'm not as into K-pop as they are, but I do love BTS. I love Blackpink. I'm gonna see Blackpink in August.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we are waiting for BTS to finish
They're hyped.
their military hiatus because they wanted to do it, and BTS is definitely on our list. We don't care what it costs. We're going to definitely go and see BTS no matter
Oh my gosh. I've seen them once. They're absolutely worth whatever price. Like I was kind of all the way in the back and it was still an amazing show. So I can't wait for you guys to go one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you have not seen In Hype, and I highly recommend them.
Okay. Okay,
Yes,
very cool.
they are probably the best favorite ever. You
Wow.
know.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know.
All right, so let's get back on track here.
Yeah,
We're a little
yeah.
bit of K-pop, but that's okay. Hey, so how do we contact you, and how do we place an order? What do people do like me who say, "Hey, I want to order from you"?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I think I don't know, people get confused sometimes, but if you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is catsbakesny New York. And the link in my bio will take you straight to the order form. My husband is a software engineer, and he's currently working on a more fleshed out website. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in the next few weeks, I'll have a more developed website. But at least for right now, that's the link in my bio. It'll take you to a Google form. Otherwise, you can just type in tinyurl.com/catsbakes. That's like the best way for people to reach me. Or honestly, like I've also been taking orders through like Instagram DMs. So people are more than welcome to just message me, and that's good too because we can kind of talk more about, especially if somebody wants to order a cake, we can talk more about design and what they want written on it and
Hmm.
their vision for the cake. So I'm always more than happy to talk to people over messages.
Right. So you're pretty open to any way of reaching out to you to make an order. That's great,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
and it's good that you have in the family software developer, so you save tons of money getting him to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm very thankful. And he's just the biggest support. Like, he'll help me package baked goods and run deliveries if needed. So I definitely could not do this without him.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You give a shout out to the husband who needs it.
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and spending some time to tell us your story. And to all of our listeners, reach out, check
Yeah.
her out, get her, order some food from her, and
Yeah. Thank you so much for
place an
having
order.
me. This was
Absolutely.
definitely really cool. Thank you.
Ah, thank you. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, yeah, I'm very happy to connect with anyone on Instagram. So please feel free to give me a follow and message me. And I just love connecting with people. So hope to hear from any of you listeners out there in the coming week.
Abs- Absolutely. Now, so Instagram is your main go to, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Gotcha. That's probably the best way. All right, there you go, folks. Instagram is it.
Yep.
Awesome.
Hit me up.
Well, Kat, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
enjoy the rest of your day. And I cannot wait to reach out to you when we get up to New York and and get some of your deliciousness.
Definitely. We'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at qacteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at qac.team. Thanks for listening.